Sorry. You were on Brother Keely's show the other day. Is that correct?
That's correct.
All right. What did you talk about on Brother Keely's show? Can you give us a little insight into what that show was all about?
We just talked about the Black Power movement and I made several statements about people think that the movement is dead. They think that the movement is gone, and people pretty much are into multiculturalism and living amongst living amongst those folks. And they saying that it's not about black and white no more. It's about classism and all those different things that people are saying. And that, I told Brother Keely that we are inspired now that it's going to be us, those people that's conscious enough to know that we have to put the work in. That's going to have to go around from city to city and wake our people up again. You know what I mean? There's been, since we've been here in America, there's been different times where, they try to lure us to sleep. The media, the radio, the TV, many different things. They try to lure us to sleep, you know what I mean? But now, what we're saying is, no, we coming back around. For those people that's hiding in the gray area, we want you to come out of the gray area now. We coming back around stronger than ever before, and so we're going to use technology, because they have used technology to lure our people to sleep, with their movies and, like I said, with their MTVs and their BETs and many of their powerful media that they have out there. Now propaganda machine. We have to put out our proper propaganda so that we can fight back, because we ain't been fighting back for a long time. We just like a box in the ring that's just been smacked around the ring and smacked this way, that way, and we trying to hold our heads up and stuff like that. But it's time for us to start punching back. It's time for us as the black people to start fighting back once again. I mean, we've done it several times throughout history, but now, since they've given us these mighty and high jobs, many of us think that, we
integration.
Just want integration, and we want to drive our big fancy cars and wear the finest of clothes and assimilate into this system. Now it's time for us to bring this black movement back once again. So we said we'll be going to one city starting in February every month, and we'll be doing this. We'll be taking speakers. We'll be bringing the Phil Valentines. We'll be bringing the Dick Gregory's. We'll be bringing the Keys. We'll be bringing folks from all over, from different walks. We'll be bringing this knowledge and information, and we're trying to raise a database of 100,000 people this year, and we want many of the scholars we've been dealing with for the past 13 years to be involved in this process.
Exactly.
And we want the scholars to become in unity, because we know a lot of times a lot of the scholars haven't been in unity, and what it is a lot of scholars have to start respecting one another and showing love, because once they're able to show unity, then the masses of the people will start to show unity when they start to see, oh, this is a real movement that's going on here. So that's some of the things that we talked about on Brother Key's show.
Okay, that was a lot that you talked about, brother. Now, when when you're dealing with bringing back or reviving the black movement, the black nationalist movement, what are some key things that you think are necessary in order for that revival to take place?
Well, I mean, I think what we have to do, some of the things we have to go back to, and that's collectivism. Like I said, integration really hurt our people in general. Integration was a big blow to black folks, and we brought into it, and we continue to buy into it. I always talk about, where I live at now in my neighborhood. I used to live there when I was young. I've been living back there for like the past 7 years now. And it's different. When I was younger, when I used to live there, I could go next door to Miss Gilbert or Mr. Allen and say, look, I need some toilet paper. We need some toilet paper at the house. Can we borrow some? And we'd be able to get it. Nowadays, it's just like, I needed some toilet paper up there. I was telling Brother King. We need something up there. And I was scared. Look, but we needed something up there, and I was scared to go next door to the neighbors and all. I was scared of how they would look at me.
Right.
But this is the reality that we living in today. We can't even go. I mean, we're not even a community at all. We don't know who our neighbor is. The only thing we do is speak, hey, how you doing? We don't know anything about our neighbors and all. So we gotta get back that community
to the basics,
where it takes a village to raise a child. That's the only way that we're gonna really make a change in our community. So that's one of the key things.
Unity, umoja, because we talked last week.
That's right.
For those people who didn't tune in last week, we talked about the principles of the Nguza Saba and how they were important principles to practice year-round, and they're principles for nation building, the principles for all the things that we're talking about when we're talking about reviving the movement, bringing back that kind of collectivity that we saw back in the day. That's umoja. That's unity. That's collective work and responsibility.
Right.
That's cooperative economics.
That's right.
That's all those principles at play. So the Nguza Saba, those 7 principles of Kwanzaa, that normally people just celebrate those during that season. Also, we want to re-emphasize almost every time we come on. At least I know I'm going to emphasize the importance of practicing these principles all year round. Right. If we started doing that, we will see ourselves progressing much faster than what we are right now.
Right.
And what you're talking about is emotion.
Right.
You know?
And another thing we've been talking about, I want to say also, Sister Ya, it's so very important, and we are so glad that you, as a sister, are standing up in the community and really living out these principles of Black nationalism and Pan-Africanism, because our lecture series, as we said before, even Reality Speaks, our lecture series, 80% male dominated. You know what I mean? It's dominated by the brothers, because there's not a lot of sisters that's actually standing up and speaking out. I'm a big fan. I have 3 daughters. You know, and people like, they laugh, you can't get no brothers, man. You know, what's the deal, whatever. But I think that honestly that I have those 3 daughters because I think the woman is key. The Black woman is key to our upliftment of our race right now and what we need. We need more Black women standing up, speaking out. You know, we need more Harriet, and this is Tubman City. We need more Harriet Tubmans that's standing up. Notice what Sister Harriet Tubman did. I mean, she never got caught one time. I mean, she went with ease, back and forth, at ease. You know what I mean? At will. You know what I mean? It was nothing to her. So we need more strong Black sisters. We would love to bring more sisters to Tubman City also to add to this lecture series. Like I said, because as of to now, 13 years, 80% dominated by the brothers. So we really appreciate a Sister Yada standing up, and you'll be hearing more from her in her presentations as in this coming year. So I mean, it's gonna be some things coming up. I'm telling you, family, that we sparking off, and we're gonna bring this movement back. So those people hiding in the gray area, you better watch out, cause we coming.
I appreciate that, Chairman Jabari. One of the things that Sister Asada Shakur talks about is the place of the Black woman. And she tries to reminds sisters that their place is in every aspect of the movement. And I'm concerned because we do see that, where when we're trying to find lecturers to come out to do different things, that we really don't have that many women lecturers to come out.
Exactly.
When we have an event, we don't have that many sisters that always come out. And this is important, because while we are involved in rearing and raising the children, giving this information and making sure that our children are surrounded around this kind of information constantly is a part of that job. Being a part of the movement is a part of that job. It's not separate. It's not to take you away from mothering your children and being there for your family. It's to enhance it. And so sisters, really, we need to step up. We need to start stepping up, not just speaking out, but we need to start living a very disciplined lifestyle, that we are holding each other accountable, that we're holding our men accountable, because the Honorable Elijah Muhammad said a nation can rise no higher than its woman.
Right.
And that's true. And the way that you see us acting now is a reflection of our lack of discipline. It's a reflection of our lack of development as African women. And so we have to step it up and start really working together and stop all of this where we can't work together because we have jealousies, or sisters just can't bond, and sisters just got issues all the time. Why are we falling into that? We don't need to fall into that. That's the part of that propaganda machine. And the reason why that's in place is because we know the power of sisters coming together. You know what that can do to transform the movement, transform the world. It'll be a whole different world of women, sisters.
That's right.
African sisters came together for the purpose of elevation. Not for shutting each other down, but to elevate each other, to complement each other. There's nothing wrong with saying a sister look good today. It's nothing wrong with being excited that your sister excelled. It's nothing wrong with sharing in your accomplishments. You know, but we get so consumed with this propaganda machine and the way they tell us that we have to compete with each other. And that's a whole nother issue, reason why sisters competing. And part of that is, you know, we holding on to a lifestyle that's not ours. And that lifestyle forces us to compete with each other for things that we shouldn't have to compete for. Things that we could share and have abundance.
Right.
You know, but because we are programmed. We are programmed to think that we have to live according to Euro standards and Euro lifestyles and their ways of institutionalizing their oppression, their domination over us. We carry that into our homes. We carry that into our relationships. And so now you see the Black nation crumbling. So we got a lot of work to do, sisters.
Right.
And so call us so that you can share, because I know there's some strong sisters out there. And that's 443-602-9906. And you can also email us at info@soulvivorsnation.com. And I'm also on LIB on Living in Black. And you can also reach me, Sister Ya, on Living in Black. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So we talking about the black woman. We talking about the black woman, the power of the African woman. I want to make just another brief announcement before we get deeply into these topics, and we bring brother Phil Valentine on with us to the set. That we do have next week. We'll be live streaming next Saturday on the 17th of January 2009. We will have Dr. Scott Whitaker, and we'll have Dr. Laila Africa. And we're going to be having a debate. So, you know what I mean? The debate is going to consist of, you know what I mean, vegetarianism really versus meat eating. You know what I'm saying? What's the proper diet that we should have as black people? So they'll be talking about those different things. As you know, Dr. Africa is a starch vegan. I'm not even saying the right thing. I don't even think he's a vegan. He calls himself something else other than a vegan. Vegan vegetarian. I'm not exactly sure what the title is that he calls himself. But we have and Scott Whitaker, who's they are very much on the same page when you talk about medicines and different things, diseases and many different things. Only thing is, Dr. Scott Whitaker says that, you know, he thinks that meat has certain nutrients that you can't get from vegetables or whatever. You know what I'm saying? So he thinks that you need a little meat in your diet. So this would be something that you want to tune into, because we in starting in January, we have to live a healthy lifestyle as a people. So we need to know what's correct, what's not correct. I mean, there's many things about the soy industry and what soy is doing to our people and different things. So you want to tune into that. That's Dr. Laila Africa. We got two of them on one event, Dr. Laila Africa and Dr. Scott Whitaker, and we bring both of these brothers and sisters out to different events. So that will be live pay-per-view for the whole world to tune into, and that'll be 7 to 10 p.m. on the 17th. We'll have the flyer posted on libtv.com, so tune in with us so that you can be a part of this historical event. Brother Rough Mike, we talking about the black woman and the power of the black woman, whatever. I understand that you brothers, I heard at a Kwanzaa event, I just heard a little premiere of a song that y'all had about the black woman or whatever. What you think, bro? I mean, what you think? You know, the role of the black woman, and you know, give us a little something.
I'm gonna take this from another angle. Yeah, we do have a song dedicated to the queens, and us collaboratively, me, Free, Flo, and brother Kaba of all of Mike the Mouth Music, we put together our talents for a tribute to the queens. So yeah, definitely you come see us, we'll do that for you. But I believe recruitment is over for males and females. I think recruitment is over. Recruitment for black nationalists, recruitment for people to come over to the side. For me, our music and what we project is for the brothers and sisters that already know. You see, we always talking about we don't want our children to listen to this. We don't want our children to look at this. So we need to provide a alternative. So that's what Tubman City Live is. That's what Precise Science is. But I think the sisters that and the brothers too that are lost, I think Barack Obama has pushed them over the side, so to speak. He has drawn a line in the sand. He has taken a chunk out of our conscious brothers and sisters, or brothers and sisters who were trying to be conscious. Now they've, like Brother Jabari said, thrown that red, black, and green away. The white man is cured. Racism is over. So therefore, they're in such a docile-minded level. We're wasting our time trying to reach them. We need to start here. That's who I'm interested in getting the eyes and ears and minds of. If I strongly believe if we have the youth, the minds of our youth back, we don't need reparations. We don't have control of them, and our sisters play a big part in that. Definitely, I wholeheartedly agree that we don't have enough females, sisters that come out to the events, and scholars and lecturers, but I think we need to raise them. I mean, we might get a couple people that might say, you know, hey, you're right, or you got something there. let me go and research what you just told me, and I'll get back to you, brothers. That's gonna be like 1%. So we definitely that's my take on it. Recruitment is over. Whoever's watching, that's who we got. And we got enough people to move. We got enough talented brothers and sisters to move, build the nation. So that's my take on it. In light of the Baba that's in here tonight, Reverend Phil Valentine, I think he has a couple books. Wounded Womb is one. Waiting for the Persecuted Penis. Oh, did I say that? Okay. Baba Keita, you got the edit button, right? No, I'm just joking, but you know me. But I think we need to go back, and I remember watching Wounded Womb, the lecture on DVD, and I remember the first time I had heard that. I heard the brother explain to the brothers and sisters that our sisters and our brothers were going through were doing so many things to keep our ourselves intact during the fall of Kemet, and one of the things were piercing the clitoris, and throughout the time that that was destroyed or misconstrued by the Arabs. The Arabs came and were mutilating sisters, but Wounded Womb had taught me that was a act of trying to keep ourselves intact, and from the fall of Kim. So I'm saying, okay, we really don't look the way we supposed to look, or think the way we. I mean, I think if we saw a brother or sister from Kemet, it would look different from what we look now. So that's a devolution there, correct? Is that a devolution? Because we supposed to ascend from, and we've gone down, devolved instead of evolved. And so that got me to thinking about sisters and brothers in our relations. What were we doing? How were we relating to each other back then? We wasn't caught up in all the hang-ups. All women can't drive. All men are dogs. All those things that we think, and we weren't there. So how were we? And let's try to capture that. Let's try to reenact that. That's what we need to get back to. We have the templates for all the ills that plague our community. We have the template for the solution. A lot of us don't do the research to find out and apply those things, or we do the research and then don't have the discipline to apply it. So yeah, definitely. A lot of people are well read but not well practiced. So that the brother Phil, I definitely that was just a little innuendo of what Wounded Womb, but that was just something that just like shocked me. You know what I mean? Like, that clitoris was not there. So I mean that's real. So what happened to us? And with this fall of Kim, that meant that wasn't that attacked us anatomically, evidently, right? To alter our anatomy. We've been through a lot, way before slavery. Way before slavery.
That's Rough Mike. We are live in Tubman City. The time is 9:50 p.m. on your East Coast time, 6:50 West Coast time, 11:50 GMT Accra time. So we're going to get ready to take a commercial. I just want to say this before we go to commercial break, I disagree with just a couple things that you said.
I know.
You know what I'm saying? I mean, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? And we'll talk about it when we come back off a break, you know what I mean? And yeah.
That's what I'm here for.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. And brothers and sisters, we will be right back. Tubman City live. Join us. Call a friend. Call us. The caller said 443-602-9906. We'll be right back.
Yeah, definitely.
Somebody sitting here. Peace, family. We are back live, Tubman City live. The time is now 9:55 p.m. East Coast time.
6:55 Pacific.
6:55 Pacific time.
11:55 GMT Accra.
And 11:55 GMT Accra time. You are here live, Tubman City live. Joining us in the studio now, we have our brother, Dr. Phil Valentine. Give him a round of applause. We do have our audience that's here today. I don't think we're able to turn the cameras around. The bill, we got one camera right now, you know what I mean? So as we get those double views, we'll be able to flick in and out, you know what I mean? You know, I know many of y'all watch the Oprah Winfrey show and y'all used to stuff flashing back and forth and words and stuff coming up and everything. But give us some time, you know what I mean? We'll be there. We'll be there soon. But we have brother Dr. Phil Valentine here with us. I just wanted to say before we go to brother Phil Valentine, I told brother Rough Mike I disagree with just a few things. I mean, I agree 90% of what the brother is talking about. You know what I mean? I don't agree with the fact that the time is over for recruiting, because I think so many of our people are in that neutral zone, and some people are waiting to be pushed to their calling. You know, and it's like the Matrix. You know what I mean? Many people don't even know. I mean, we've been doing things down at DJS, Department of Juvenile Services, and those brothers, a lot of young brothers, they've been in there 4 or 5. Nobody's been in there less than 5 times down at DJS in the program that we just ended a month ago. And to talk to those young brothers down there, I mean, those brothers are sharp when you actually really talk to them. When you get past the behavioral problems and those different things, they understand what's going on, but they don't even know that there's a whole nother road that they can walk. They're not even aware that there's another road. They're not aware that they can be entrepreneurs and those different things. You talk to them like, man, I can't be no businessman. You know what I mean? Because I don't know enough white people with different things. You know, different things, crazy stuff that you'll be surprised that they say, you know, in general. You know what I mean? I mean, I don't even have no license, and I mean, I can't even, you know, they don't even know that they can do or walk a whole nother path. When we show them movies, things about Malcolm X and different folks, you know what I mean, they love it. When we showed them the documentary Bastards of the Party, and the origins of the gangs and how the gangs got started and different things, they love it. You know what I'm saying? And they be in there talking about, man, these crackers kill me. You know what I mean? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I mean, they, you know, when you show them, and if we show them, we have programs, a lot of those young people would change. And even some of these people, these Negroes running around that's American dreaming right now, when we show them the right way, and when we show them that this movement is real, and this movement ain't no...
What's up? It's LA. I'm good. The show is... Yes sir, Little Africa. Good job. I was just calling into the show, showing everybody some love. It's a beautiful show, man. Right here in Thomas City. Yeah, oh, you know, we do a little bit of conscious music. You know, we spit hot fire like Dylon. You know what I mean? Oh, I wanted to say something about the recruitment piece too. I heard y'all having a discussion about it. I just wanted to say, not just to jump off the back of Jabari, but I also don't think that recruitment is over, because I feel like every day, you know, even as in a young standpoint, because I'm only, well, about to be 19 years old on the 24th of this month, but being young, I see that a lot of people are getting woke up every day, you know, from different things that go on. And you look at stuff like January 6th, like Hurricane Katrina, even as far as back as Emmett Till and the civil rights and the Panthers movement, people were continually being recruited and pulled into the struggle, because people, like, they feel like there's something there. They feel like there's some type of oppression, but they can't properly define it. And I think that that's where people like, you know, Precise Science, they give them the CD, you know what I mean? They start bumping out to the CD like, okay, this is the opposition, you know, this is what we up against, you know. And I feel like if we feel like we're so, you know, full, like to say that, you know, we filled up, you know, we can't recruit no more, or we got enough people out here that we can work with. I mean, even the people that we have that we call conscious aren't doing enough, you know. And I can say that even for myself, we aren't doing enough. So to say recruitment is over, I feel like we can't say that. I feel like every day, you know, should be a time for recruitment and unified eyes, soul nation philosophy, you know. It's time to stand up, people. Let's get it. Well, I'd like to say, man, just keep up the good work, everybody. You know, times is hard for everybody. You know, don't ever think you're alone. And we gonna make it. You know what I mean, we gonna get to where we need to be, but we gonna have to depend on each other and keep building, keep unifying. All right, peace. Thank you.
Now we're gonna bring in. I know many people are joining in, you know, and they wanna, you know, see what brother Dr. Phil Valentine is gonna be talking about. I don't have his history in front of us, but we're gonna actually talk about a lot of the brother's history today. But like I said, once again, let's welcome Dr. Phil Valentine to the show. Once again, let's give him another round of applause. So, brother Phil, it's good to have you here in Tubman. It's good to have you here in Tubman City. We're pleased to have you here, and you know, this is, like I said, this is our second show, Tubman City Live. We're collaborating. Reality Speaks Survivors Nation. We have the brother from Precise Science that's joining us, and we also have brother Darren Muhammad, who will be joining us. You did a show, an interview with him on last Saturday. He'll be joining us briefly in a short time. Brother, do you like what you're hearing so far, or what, you know?
I'm just soaking it in. You know, I'm feeding. This is beautiful. I see a very powerful potential here. Something that commitment that one has to become completely devoid of ego, because this thing can build to a point where before you know it, hierarchies begin to form within the same structure.
Right.
So you all must always remember that you all have to leave the ego at the door when you're doing this, because I've seen too many movements start out as beautiful as this and then get into the world and then become something else from what they're supposed to be. As a matter of fact, I'm going to be talking about that tomorrow.
So, brother, you'll be coming, like I said, you'll be joining us at Sojourner Douglas College, live in Tubman City, what many folks call Baltimore City. You'll be here live with us tomorrow. Can you just give us a brief overview? The topic is Barack Obama and the New Old Order. So can you just give us a little something, you know, about what you're gonna be talking about tomorrow, well, on Saturday, this Saturday?
Well, briefly, it's going to be about opening up the eyes of our people to give them an awareness of history that has been left out of even our black nationalist movements, a history that has been left out of part of the equation necessary for us to decipher. We are laboring under a misapprehension about how this world works. So every time we organize and strategize, we strategize around the veneer or the illusion or the perception of what it is they want us to organize around. Even in the most vociferous black and who we are, wanting our people, loving our people so much, to organize and want to attack the enemy has set up targets that are not what they really seem. So what we have done is exhausted a whole another quantum energy source of a generation. That's how they do it. They let the movers and the shakers of the generations come out and reveal themselves, exhaust themselves fighting at a target that is gossamer, made of smoke. And by the time we reach out to grab and think we have the enemy, then it disappears. And that generation dies down.
That's right.
In hopes that another generation will raise up to find out what is it that is given away, or what is it that they're concealing from us that is making us strategize around all the wrong points. So tomorrow, what we're going to do is we're going to reveal.
Saturday.
Or Saturday.
Yeah.
True that. I thought we were already in Friday.
Right. Say like Friday.
So what it is tomorrow, Saturday again, must be someplace. I must be.
I think I know where.
Yeah. Saturday, which is Saturn's Day, I'm going to be giving everyone a blow-by-blow schematic, sequential schematic. It's going to be an abbreviated sequential schematic because within the hour's time that I have, I could never give the depth of what I need to give to source. So this is going to be part one. And what is going to happen is I'm going to lay it out for you so that you understand and understand that what you think the enemy is, who you think the enemy is, where you think the enemy is, and everything that we fight, all that is gossamer. All of that is an illusion. It's a hologram that is being projected at your minds. And the real ones who are playing it, the puppet master who is actually doing it, is completely outside of your reach because you have not factored him into your equation. So what you need to do is to open up, what I'm going to do hopefully is to serve in opening up your vista, taking you out of the 20% and putting you into 180 degree so that your peripheral becomes a lot more crystal. Right now you're only tunneled. You have to become peripheral when you're fighting. And you have to overstand and see the enemy in your 100 degree, and then you have to have your boy behind you taking up the other 180 degree, and your sister on the other side taking up your 180 degree. So it's going to be a 360 degree beyond that circle of awareness that we have to achieve. And that's why I had started the underground, the metaphysical community in New York, so that we could hold back from our immediate reactions. Let's get the stick, let's get the gun, let's shoot at somebody.
Right.
If we are not analyzing the enemy the way he has analyzed us, we are fighting nothing more than smoke. We are looking at what he wants you to look at and exhausting another generation.
That's right.
So now that we have this, you all this youthful energy here, everything, this new concern and a whole new awareness, first of self, because that's the number one.
That's right.
Understand and overstand that. Now you will know how to strategize from that point. And when you strategize, now you are really making inroads, because now you are going towards where the enemy really lies.
So, listening audience, it's going to be hot and heavy this Saturday. This Saturday, you want to tune in. If you're not going to fly into Tubman City from wherever you're coming from Canada or wherever you may be coming from, if you're not going to fly in, we made it convenient for you. Just go to libtv.com and click the button, and you'll see the flyer there with Dr. Phil Valentine. Click the Phil Valentine flyer, and it's convenient for you, and you can join us live through the internet, right? The comfort of your home. You can sit back and eat your, as Brother Katie said, your fruit or your cheese doodles.
No, you will not be eating cheese doodles.
Let me stop.
Brother Katie, you need to call in and say something about the cheese doodles.
But Dr. Phil Valentine, I was getting ready to say Dr. Phil, but I said that you correct me because you said nah, not Dr. Phil. You want nobody associating you with the guy.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Dr. Valentine, I would say, right?
Well, I'm known as Baba Sanu.
Baba Sanu.
Yeah,
Okay.
Sanu being, of course, you understand. Amongst other things, it means physician and friend.
What language is that?
The Medinetu.
Okay, Medinetu. Okay, Brother Sanu.
Baba Sanu and Baba Sanu.
Okay, Baba Sanu.
You want to be a part of the conversation that we're having with Baba Sanu, you need to give us a call at 443-602-9906. That's 443-602-9906. Baba, I wanted to know if you can address what we were beginning to talk about in the beginning of the program, the absence of sisters involved actively in the movement, or I'm gonna call it movement for right now. Could you speak to that?
My pleasure. My queen, I don't like calling her my queen. She's more than that. And you could invite her and talk to Dr. Nalani, because then you will get a whole other perspective, one dynamic perspective from that sister. She will definitely give you the sister side of the story. I know what's happening. The reason why there are not a lot of sisters is because they've been captured.
Mm-hmm.
It's the same thing with the Maroons.
Mm-hmm.
Where are the brothers? Where are we going back to get them?
Mm-hmm.
You remember what happened with Henry?
Mm-hmm.
How did the stories of the Maroons come about? They started snatching up their sisters. When they snatched up the women, we went and destroyed everything. We wiped out everything so that anytime they thought about going after the sisters, she could walk at night after what we did through the worst and most hostile clan territories in the islands. They would not touch a Maroon sister. Because to touch a Maroon sister means it would be a scorched earth. We don't have that anymore. And what has happened, they have psychologically, economically, socially, and even spiritually captured our sisters. So it isn't that they are not ready to be there and to be turned, it's that we have not gone to get them.
Right.
We have not made the concerted effort to get them. They made the concerted effort to go after them. So we have now, and they've set up their Oprahs, and they set up their idols and their icons. And essentially they have made us as men to seem that we are incidental and we are redundant in their lives. So when a man becomes a redundancy, he becomes useless.
Exactly.
And therefore, he now becomes jailbait. Now they just use his Social Security as a warehouse receipt, and they milk that warehouse receipt by putting him in a 6x6 or a 6x4, and what you have now is essentially the largest incarcerated amount of incarcerated peoples on the planet. In fact, we have more than the world has. The whole world.
That's right.
Incarceration, the whole world of incarceration, we have more than the entire world has collectively.
That's right.
So that's not an accident, that's a plan.
Definitely.
So it's our sisters. I wrote the book called The Wounded Womb back from 1989, 1990, when my previous wife, Queen Afua, and I used to do work with women, helping them to lessen their menstrual cycles and things of that
I
nature.
remember that.
Right, and then what happened was the Wounded Womb was a little booklet just to give them certain things to do. And then from that point, it began to grow, so that by 1996, it was about 300 pages. Now, from that point, when I went back to read it, I had all this other information that said, look, everything I said in these 300 pages were true, and here's what the proof was. So now it turned out to be 709 pages. So it's now a hardcover at 709. It says it's written for women but dedicated to men. And so it's the brothers also who will need to find out what the war is all about. There are two parts.
Yeah.
It's the anatomy and metaphysics, part one, and the politics and economics, part two, of women's diseases. So I wrote that, and a lot of sisters called me and said, you know, what you said pinched, but I kept reading and you kept qualifying. But then I read a little bit and I cringe. But then I kept reading and all of a sudden you qualified and it began to make sense. And then every time you said something that irked me, I couldn't be irked because it would be qualified.
Exactly. Okay.
So in essence, everybody thinks I'm a woman hater. The first time the feminists really came after me. And when they came after me, I stayed with it. And sure enough, the old ladies, the old sisters began supporting me. And they began telling the younger sisters. And now the younger sisters are reading it. They're little arguments. They call me up arguing on the phone. But now it's beginning to make sense because they're seeing that all of what they've been told was real is no longer real.
Right.
Because now that they're at least 5 to 6 to 10 years older, it's gotten worse.
Yeah.
And now they're alone
Yeah.
because they took on a false, like you said something very, your sister Yao, you said it's alien. It's not. They're following a whole line of thought that is not their own. It is not their culture. So they've adapted, like all women do. Now we have to go back as men and be ready to bleed, be ready to lead. And you can't be ready to lead unless you're ready to bleed. The brothers don't want to bleed.
Exactly.
Brothers too busy with bling. Brothers too busy about, and we don't become so feminized. We're worried about our shoes. We're getting our hands done. You know. And that's the kind that didn't turn us into women. So we have to now understand that we have to go and get our sisters, and that's what this is about. It's not arguing at the sisters, it's a shock treatment. And that's in the beginning of my book. I said this is benevolent shock therapy.
Okay. All right. So that's very interesting what you're talking about. I mean, we had a program here. It's called YouthWorks here in Tubman City, and we had about 30 young people this summer that we had to manage. And they were from the ages of anywhere from, what was it?
13, 14.
13 to 15, I think.
No, it's about 16, 17.
Oh, okay. It started at 13 to like to about 17, and we had quite a few young ladies, sisters. Like I said, we had already had the program at DJS with the young men, but this one was predominantly a lot of young sisters that were there. The attitude of the young women. I mean, well, for both male and women, but the attitude of the young women is crazy. It's out of this world. I mean, it was like we would tell a young, sister, go clean the bathroom. We need you to clean the bathroom. I ain't cleaning the bathroom. I don't do it at home, and I'm not doing it here. I mean, this is the kind of, this is the kind of stuff they was, you know what I mean? Like, well, young lady, we need this, so. I mean, I don't have that, you know what I mean? And, so, but, our mission is, of course, to get the knowledge and information to them and teach. So, we got quite a bond with some of the young ladies and the young men that came through that program. But, a lot of times, we was talking earlier, a lot of times, a lot of the things that the young men do, they do to really oppress the young women. So a lot of times, like, even in a lot of the killings and all that go on, a lot of times you'll see at the root of it, you'll see young ladies like, well, they may get something may happen somewhere, and they say, I call my brother, I call my boy such and such and such, you know what I mean? He feel like he gotta, pull it out, you know what I mean? Tony, so when she call him up, Tony, I'm having such, I'm down and such, you know what I mean? And now he feel like he gotta come out and he gotta perform for this young lady because she called him, and she feel, you know what I mean? So a lot of times, at the root, like you said, because we talking about, it takes, what is it? A nation can rise no higher than his woman. A lot of times. Right. So, what do you think that we do? I mean, I know you spoke about some of the things, but for these young sisters that's coming up, and to switch their influence of what they have so much from this BET and the media and all, that's really, like I said, it takes a nation to raise a woman. A nation can rise no higher than his woman. So, what can we do to reverse this psychology with our young women?
It's going to have to be something that we do to isolate them. We have to isolate women from the environment. A woman becomes her environment, just like anyone else. What has happened is they have taken on the leadership. Understand that the whole hip-hop movement, the women were following the brothers. Right. It always happens. The sisters follow us. That's how it's supposed to be. But today, the European has told them, no, you can follow and lead yourself. And a woman by nature is a cleaver. She is by nature a supporter. She is there by her whole design. Her whole physical design is one of support. It's one of nurturing. It's not one to go and initiate, to conquer, and to make environments safe for the rest of. That's not it. That's our job. Right. Our tools, our whole plumbing is set up that way. Our whole muscular structures, everything about us is to lead and to make sure that we provide and protect. Now, if we have stopped doing that, sisters have to step up, and they become more masculine. They become more belligerent. They do not have the sense of modesty. That's the one thing that's left that was gone. Once the sisters lost that sense of modesty, they lost that image that enthralls us as men, that mystery that keeps us. If they don't, the old women used to try to teach the women, listen, that's not how you act. If you want power, here's how the power works as a woman. You can't be a man as a woman and get power. You can feign it, but then you're going to exhaust yourself, and you're going to find yourself in certain situations that are not going to be able to support you. So what's happened? The sisters now follow the brothers. Notice that the sisters in hip-hop are dressing like the brothers in hip-hop. Come on. I mean, when Sister MC Light used to come over, and she was dressed just like the guys. The pants was here, the hat was to the side. I'm saying, who's that? I'm saying, no. They follow us. So if we are doing stupid things, invariably, over a period of time, we're going to start raising stupid children who are doing stupid things. The adults, we let these young brothers and sisters down, because if you want to know what's happening with these sisters, go back to the parents.
Exactly. That's what I was going to suggest.
The parents essentially have it's a generational thing. The only way I see it happening is that we can. This is going to be a harsh lesson for us as brothers and sisters if we want to really have a revolution. There's no way for us to save anybody over 15 at this point. Here's what I'm saying. Listen to what I'm saying. This is harsh. We can work with those, because this is going to take, that's a whole other cause to go after those. We must go back there.
Right.
So from the time, even before that, we got to go back to get that girl.
Healing does not
Exactly.
take place.
It's here. We have to capture the young baby girl and the young baby boy and get them completely outside of the environment that has been specifically created to destroy them.
Yep.
There's no way you're going to have a flourishing child in a desert. You cannot grow a water-based life plant in the desert. It does not work that way. So what you need to do is you need to start seriously taking your children out of the system that pollutes them and destroys them from the time they're a child. If you can get a consolidation, they got all these older teachers that are not working anymore. I mean, old school teachers that were teaching old school ways of peripheral thinking, how to diagram a sentence, how to do a proper math problem.
Exactly.
They are there. They got that knowledge, and they're not doing nothing but pulling in retirement pay and ain't even helping them out. What happens when we put our little coins together and gather little children in the school like here and get a real teacher in here, and then on top of that, give them the moral lessons that we want them to have,
Exactly.
and start doing those things? Now you start to build a nation. Now a nation begins to start flourishing at the place it needs to flourish from the womb. And that child comes out knowing who it is and is not fooled. But it's not that you're not going to teach them about the European and European things, because there has to be something for that child to compare to overstand and understand. But the real history, and the mystery behind the history, and that's the part that's missing. We are always teaching our children what to do and how to function, but we don't teach them the mystery of who they are, just what they are. You ask a person today, well, how you doing? What's up with you? Well, I'm a this. I'm a computer programmer. I'm a this and I'm a... No, you're not. Your first breathing, the first breath that you take in showed that you were a human.
Right.
And that is lost inside of us right now. Too many people chasing after the what and not the who. And then we're going to start working on that. And we have the lesson plans. We have the things ready for young people like yourselves to start going out and just finding out if they're young sisters and brothers out there. It just start with 2 children.
Yeah.
It could start with 4, 3. Just start with that point.
Yeah.
Because remember, it's only 10,000 men screwing up this planet. Just 10,000. And there's 6 billion of us.
Yes.
So if 10,000 men can mess up a planet, a tiny planet, imagine what we could do with 10,000 people heading in that same direction. Going in our direction, knowing what we have to do. You can't fool a child. You can't deprogram my child, because my child has already been insulated against you.
And what you're saying is so key, because Honorable Marcus Garvey talks about propaganda. He talks about proper propaganda. And one of the things that he emphasizes when he deals with propaganda is the importance of looking at everything as propaganda, first of all. Even looking at your educational system, that's propaganda. What you wear, that's propaganda. Everything you do is propaganda. It's promoting a certain thought. It's promoting a certain ideology, what's to say. And he talks about the importance of removing all those images from around your in your home. You shouldn't have any images of other people that are going to sink into your child's mind and make them think of themselves as inferior. That you're supposed to surround your children around images that are going to be able to allow them to have that knowledge of self, to appreciate self, to respect self. turning off the TV, looking at the posters and things that you have in your home. You should have pictures of African people all around you. You shouldn't be watching TV where you have these images, because a lot of this stuff is so deep and it's so indoctrinated, and we get it in the TV. The young children, they're watching shows like Mean Girls, and they looking at images that don't look anything like them, and this is supposed to be the standard for beauty. This is supposed to be the standard of how you're supposed to behave around. They're learning how they're supposed to deal in relationships from TV shows that teach opposite of what we are all about, and this is propaganda. So we allow our children to engage in this propaganda and then wonder, why they're acting out. And sometimes we say, well, because this is the life, this is where we live, and they have to be exposed to it. I strongly disagree with that. Because we can create in our homes. We can create. We don't have control over everything out here at this time, but in our homes, what we have in our homes, we have some control over that. We have control over that. We have control over whether or not we're gonna have a TV in every room or not. We got control over what kind of pictures we're gonna put up on our walls. We have control over what home. We have control over that. But parents and a lot of people don't take that control.
Yeah, but you see, everything you're saying is on point. The only thing is that when you let your child out outside that door, the lure of the world it is irresistible. So what you have to do, like, it's interesting how the Amish work. If a child reaches 18 years of age in the Amish community, they let them go buck wild. They take them out, just go ahead, do anything you want to do.
For a time period.
Yeah. And you do it for as long as you want.
But they always return.
But no, they don't.
Oh, okay.
When you return, and if you choose to return, that's it. Or else, if you choose to return and then you fall out of it, then they'll never take you back in again, and you're on your own. But they will embrace you, and they will support you. They'll give you anything you need, food, shelter, everything. But the problem is that if we raise our child in a certain way, the lure of something different is going to automatically make them go that way.
Okay.
You see? And that's what happened to me, because I was raised a Catholic, coming out of a West Indian family. I knew the Jesuits. I knew all about that. That's why I could be I'm an expert at the fact of the Catholic religion and the Catholic way and what the Catholic religion has done to the world. Because I was in it. I was raised in it as a West Indian. That's what you were. Coming out of Trinidad, that's it. So when I came here and broke out of that discipline, I went on my last year of high school, I left and went into public school, and it was like I was walking the moons of Jupiter. I couldn't believe the lack of discipline. Because I was almost in a military style, what do you call it? I had to learn. That's one thing I got was an education. Because it was either that or whoop ass. And I got it. And the thing was, when I began to look at the children that I was in school with, I couldn't believe what they were doing. It was like crazy, and I got caught up in it. And I said, oh, is this what school was supposed to be like? And I went crazy. I went buck wild. And so if that's the only thing that you have to worry about when you isolate a child. And you start teaching that child the lure of the world, the electronics, everything that is sensually, that sensuality, this feeding of the senses. If we don't develop a system that gets that edge their senses, that's why they gave the young men during their time of puberty, they'd isolate them from the community because that is just pure testosterone. There's no way you're going to do that. And the only way you're going to raise that boy was with a man.
Right.
That's going to kick his behind.
But Baba, don't you think that's why it's important that, let's say for example, we're doing a collaboration right now where we got Reality Speaks, we got Precise Science, we got Brother Darren, and we have other organizations here in Tubman City that are like-minded as to what we are doing. If we came together and said, these are the things that we're going to do in our households, and these are the things that we're going to begin to develop, institutionalizing it so that it is an option, so that when you step out the door, you can step out into with families and institutions that reinforce what we're doing in the home. You know what I mean? So they're not like it's just in the home and it's all this is what we do and nobody else around you is doing it. We're all moving in that
That's
same.
going to take time. You know why? It's going to take it's going to take being in a place that has not yet been polluted,
Okay.
has not yet been infested
Okay.
or infected. And that infestation and infection happens very early. That's why they want your child now at 6 months. They're opening up schools for children at 6 months, so that they could start the indoctrination process early.
That's crazy.
It's six. It's
That's
sick.
crazy.
Well, they know it's not even crazy. It's genius.
Yeah,
Because
it's
if that's
genius
the
on their
case,
part.
it's diabolical.
It's crazy on our part.
Yes,
We
it is.
allow that to happen.
But you see, now you put our sisters and our brothers into a situation where our sisters have to work 2 and 3 jobs.
Exactly.
Now you have the state, and you done gave a job to another working woman who's somebody else taking care of her children. So this is what's happened to us. And in my book, I speak about the destruction of the black family as part of the civil rights movement. And it was the civil rights movement that was destroyed by the feminist movement, which was essentially a plan. The civil rights movement was actually started in 1920, and it was a plan of the Jesuits. And what had happened was, we didn't know who Martin was until now. And Martin, for all of what he gave, brilliant orator. Doesn't that sound familiar? A brilliant orator? You don't know what he was, but I may give a hint on Saturday to what went down. What happened was, the civil rights movement was created with the feminist movement to start the process of the destruction of the United States of America. And that's exactly what they did with the inculcation of feminism, with riding on the heels of the civil rights movement. It destroyed the black family first and foremost, because when we started inviting the feminists into it, which was a separatist movement, as opposed to a movement that was supposed to be all-inclusive.
Exactly.
Here we got a separatist movement with an all-inclusive movement. That didn't make no sense. What happened was, she was watching how the black man and the black woman were working together.
Exactly, and they tried to.
And they said,
put us against each other.
no, they didn't try, they did, they got it. What happened was, we are a people that are hooked into the Messiah complex. We need a Messiah to lead us, and somebody to defer the responsibility to, which is why Martin and Malcolm actually were given those mantles, not by us, but by the people who put the camera on them. And see what it is, we don't understand and understand how it was that they built those people up, so that once we now invested the spirit of ourselves in those people, all they had to do was take them out. And when they took out the king, they took out the prince, and there were no more of the inheritance. Where was that now? Once the king and the prince were killed, all right, who was supposed to step into that throne? We never nurtured them. We never brought them to that position. So what they are doing today, essentially, is they've killed off and gave you Reverend Pompidou, what's his name, Reverend FBI. You gave you all of them, and now you ain't led nowhere. We gave all the money to the sisters. Now Oprah got a couple of $1 billion in the bank account. Have we moved forward as a people? No, because they understood that they had to destroy the family and destroy the man. And in my book, I say, how do you launch an attack to destroy a nation and not let them know that you have launched an attack? Well, the first thing you do is you become proficient in the art of war.
Exactly.
And what do you find in the art of war? How do you get past the automatic defenses of someone? You're about to launch an attack. Who are the first responders to an attack?
The men.
The men. The men are the first responders. So they say, okay, we can't plan the overthrow of anything until we destroy the power that the man has to counterattack us. So what did they do? They began to launch a psychological war on us from 1959-60 all the way through 1995. And that psychological war was the feminist movement. And what they did was they created an army amongst the men. They created an army amongst the men that the men didn't even know would become their enemy. The women.
Yep.
And so now the women were told, that we were dogs, that we were the only oppressors on the planet, that every war that was started and created was by us. And of course, yes, we are the creators and the destroyers. The women are the preservers and the nurturers. But by nature now, we were turned and vilified. Manhood and macho became vilified. You no longer could project yourself as a leader, as a man, because psychologically that gave you a brand. You were either a misogynist or you were a chauvinist. I'll be damned. Yes, I am a chauvinist. I'm a sexist. You want to know why? Because a sexist is a heterosexual. A sexist family is a heterosexual. Because what else are you if you're demanding to be the man? And you're demanding your sister to be the woman. Because if a woman does this, I'm not going to do it. And if I'm a man and you want to do it, then you have made me a redundancy. And therefore, I am nothing. So, no, woman, you will stay there. I will be here. And we will function together in compatibility, not equality. And that's when they began to psychologically destroy the family, when they began raising the woman to the equal place of the man. That was insane. No longer did he become the leader in his house, because you can't have two leaders. Now you just got a partnership. You don't have a marriage. And the man is the leader in the house. He was created to be the leader and the final say. And his wife is his wisdom. She is there to counsel him and let him know what she needs. He goes and gets it.
Exactly.
And that's how it's supposed to work. But they destroyed that chemistry. They destroyed that equation. And now look at us. 90% of our sisters out there that got money don't have a soul. They don't have a man. They don't have anything to call their own, because they don't have babies.
Yeah, you heard about that.
They kill babies. Now they have rampant breast cancer and rampant womb cancer. Why? Because they've been aborting the children. And not only that, from the time they're supposed to be having children, like the Dogon women, from the time they're 18, 16, 17, 18, all the way till 24, 25, that's the baby making time. That's when you're strong enough to bring children and raise children. You got to be strong to raise children. Now I'm 40, I've got my my career, I want to have a child. Are you out of your mind? No, they take away our sisters' baby making time and the time for us to raise a generation and to raise a nation and give you a career. And then you don't know that the word career is etymologically connected to the word combat. So now a woman is chasing a career. She is chasing the means to learn combat. So overstand and understand, sisters, you've been, what did that brother say?
Hey.
Bamboozled.
Bamboozled.
Been had.
No doubt. Hot topics, hot conversation. On Tubman City, we are live. This is Tubman City, and we're living the black. Brothers and sisters, it's 10:40 p.m. on the east side. That's 7:40 Pacific. That's 5:40 GMT Accra time. 443-602-9906 is the please call in. Please call in. The brother just gave us a lot of information, a lot of things we need to think about and consume, and definitely and take in. Our luscious and beautiful black African audience is in the got the great Baba Phil Valentine. Soul Vibers is in here.
In the building.
The mouth, no doubt, on the audio and the visual. And Bob, I was just listening to everything you was dropping down to us, and the things that were wrong and out of place had a European aura to them, and the things we were supposed to be doing has an African aura to them. So would you say that in trying to instill early in our young sisters and brothers, we need to let them know first what is African and what is not?
First, let them find out what is human. See, we again, we're labeling. Okay. Once you label, you separate yourself from what it is that you are at the essential level. Then you become the African by what it is that you have understood from what the essence is. to just be saying African, I can go to Africa and look at Africans really killing off and being just as mad and crazy as white people. But to teach somebody to be an African, quote unquote, before you teach them to be a human, or essentially a spiritual being having a human experience, and then say that what is your essence, what are you created for and by and to do, and to understand that, then you're saying, okay, I have a greater purpose than just to try to get bling, or to try to, to try to get over on someone, or to try to take advantage. This is some of the things, like, you understand and understand that when you're teaching to the essence of that person. You're not talking just to the body. You're talking to that soul. You're talking to what that person is at the essential level. Well, how does that person understand how to tap into that essential level? A child does it every day when you watch that child play on the floor.
That's right.
The child is tapping into that place they call imagination.
Yes.
You see, the Magi nation. So you are the Magi of that nation. Your mind is the Magi. So what you are looking at, that field of imagination now has been colonized. Why has it been colonized? Because Pokemon now occupies it.
Exactly.
That's right.
See, what happens, a child can't go in and find the names of entities waiting to announce themselves to his imagination so that he can bring it into his world.
Exactly.
That's right.
Because it's being polluted and constantly bombarded with all these signals, these crazy political signals. So, essentially what you're saying, which is, right on the line, we have to now teach the essence of that entity, that being. And then if that being has chosen to be and identify with an African vehicle, then say, well, this is what you are and what you became. You are that essential. You are the first. You are the one where everything was made from.
Right.
And now, what are you going to do with that? Now that you know the essence of yourself and what you've come here to do because you've chosen this particular vehicle, here's what you are, here's what you need to be doing. But just to tell him he's an African, or just to tell him that he was superior, and this was the little dichotomy between us in the underground metaphysical community coming up during the time of your age, and our elders and our mentors and masters, Dr. Ben and Dr. Clark and them. We're saying, great, teachers, you're teaching us the history. What about the mystery? Well, it's the mystery that made these people give the history.
That's right.
So we were begging them, and Dr. Ben, he was, oh, you're not ready, When we're here, they say, knock and the door shall be open.
The teacher's ready to
Yes, exactly. So I said, no, we're gonna have to do this another way. So what we did was we went and I started the underground metaphysical community, doing the gathering of the masters, bringing together the young masters from the next time, the next stage coming together. And that's how you do it. You hand the torch.
Yeah.
You make sure that torch gets handed and stays lit. You don't isolate around what you have become and then have somebody think that they need to come up and genuflect before it, because you and I are on the same level right now. You walk down the street, they're gonna call you nigga like they call me nigga. So if we don't get past the ego tripping of an education, the ego tripping of what I think I have that you don't have, that's going to keep us from taking the next quantum leap. One or two of us may leap, but we won't leap together. And then that one person will be out there, and
Right.
that's it.
I won't. Go ahead.
Baba, right about now, I'm confused. I want you to endarken.
Let's not mantraize that, because we continually say things like that to ourselves. We give a mantra to ourselves, we talk to ourselves, and we listen to ourselves when we talk. So you are not confused.
Right.
You are clear, and you would like further clarity.
Further clarity, correct. Thank you, Baba. A lot of master teachers of mine has always taught me to look the other way or do the opposite of what my oppressor tells me to. And now that seems to be jaded. Some of people I look up to is not saying that no more. They have another ideology now. And so the brothers and sisters that's coming up, trying to take them ourselves to the next level, the next level, the next level, and we're trying to take the torch from you and continue forth. But I'm in a fork in the road.
Yeah.
I'm at a fork. Tell me the steps that I should take, or the observations that I should go through so I can feel comfortable that I'm doing the right thing and taking this forward.
I see
This
what
is
you mean.
important to me.
I see what you mean. You're saying, and let me be clear before I move forward to answer you correctly. You're saying that there are things that your other teachers have said to you that are now not in line with what you have been taught. And the situation is, as a student, you must not align yourself to the teacher.
Exactly. Yes.
It is the teaching, and your own inner barometer of truth will guide you.
Yep.
The teacher is there simply to show you the signs, and that's it. And you walk the path, and every now and then a teacher comes and is added to your journey.
Right.
But he is not there forever. He's not there to be, he's not there for you to be judged by. So what you do is you take what that teacher has to say, and take what all teachers, you even take what your enemy, according to Sun Tzu, you rejoice in your enemy's victories, because what has he done? He's shown you something about yourself. So you now must not attach the ego to the learning. That's what happens. We personalize the information, and now we become the judge and the jury and the executioner of our own inner nature that we're building. So the way I teach my students at the University of Commission Sciences is that what I am here simply to do is light a way. Because we teach what is known as, what the ancestors call, what they say the ancestors called the mystery system. It's not the mystery system, it was called the path of the hidden light. The path of the hidden light is a place where your mind has to go. The physical senses can't take you there. The mind, the path of the hidden light, can only be reached when you have dropped the facade, when you are no longer dependent upon the ego to bridge the gap between you and your descriptions of what it is that you want to be. That's the problem. We keep describing ourselves, and we keep enjoining these descriptions of ourselves, and we get weighed down so that by the time we think we reach the threshold, we're so weighed down we can't cross it. What you need to do is to listen without attaching your judgment to what you're listening to. That's when your true attention is being seen by the observer. And that's the thing. You have polluted the observer with the judgment. And what has happened is the observer is just simply to see what is happening without the filter of thought. Thought is always judging. Watch your thoughts. Your thoughts are there from the past. They're there in the container. They're like worms waiting around to be reintroduced again. A thought is of the past. There is no future thought. There's only the now that you're thinking, and then the suspension of thought, the thought that has gone by. Once you bring thought from the past, which is your past experience, to the moment now, you've destroyed the experience of the now. So the thought is constantly qualifying your now. All your past prejudices, your angers, your this, you bring it to the now, and you cannot have an immediate experience with yourself and your learning if your now is polluted with all of your past judgments. You see? So you must now become less judgmental of yourself, of what you learn, see it for what it is, apply it as a scientist, and alchemically put it into your life, and you'll see your life grow.
Barbara, that's some, you wanted to respond? Oh, well, those are powerful teachings. Are you joining us?
Yeah, but they don't know that yet.
Oh, well, I'm going to introduce you. Brother Rule of Precise Science, who's usually doing a lot of the technology for us, is behind the camera, making sure that the mics are working, is going to join us in our discussion with Baba Sanu. You can join us too by calling 443-602-9906. That's 443-602-9906. You can Skype us Also, is that scheduled at the
That's
same
correct.
number?
At
Okay.
Tubman City Live.
At Tubman City Live. Also, we have in the studio Brother Darren Muhammad, who will be joining us as well. Final hour, we will have.
Saturday night, Tubman City Live.
Exactly. In the final hour, Brother Darren Muhammad will also be joining us in our discussion. Please be reminded that on Saturday, you can go to libtv.com. You can get more with Baba Sanu, Reverend Dr. Phil Valentine. He's going to be doing a powerful presentation. You can tell, even from tonight's conversation, that it's going to be something that you do not want to miss. You want to be able to be a part of this information. You can go to libtv.com. That's going to be Saturday. Tune in at 7 p.m.
And not to give too much away with what will be going on Saturday evening, Baba Sanu, but as you've traveled, and I know you do quite a bit of traveling, what has, that's probably not a good way to put it because I know not too much stuff surprises you, but what has encouraged you and disheartened you most about our people when it comes to the Magic Mulatto? Barack Obama.
Yeah. Well, there are things about the brother that, well, wow, that's a loaded question without me giving too much away.
Yeah.
What I will say, however, is don't reserve your judgment until Saturday, because I'm going to be doing some things that are going to piss everyone off. It's going to make, I'll do that anyway. But it's not going to be something that's, it may strike people as insulting. It may say, well, no, you're just going all the way out on the fringe. But I found that every time I take myself out on the fringe and do not confine myself to the thresholds that have been given to me, even by my own community, I discover things and they begin to be very clear. And that's how you open up a mind, an inquiring mind, a strong mind, a very active mind, a proactive mind, not one just soaking in and reacting, but proacting. So what I wanted to do was to introduce some hypothetics, because that's what I teach, the science of hypothetics. Because the science of hypothetics gives you a chance to breach into the future because of what is happening now. So Barack Obama does not, he surprised me because, well, from 2005, I was warning people about Barack Obama. And I told people about Barack Obama, watch out for him, they got something special for him to do. And the more I searched into him and kept and reserved that information until now, I found out that other people were doing the same thing. I'm talking about white folks, black folks. They were studying this man for the last 10 years. And so the information I found out about him and what I thought about him and what is real about him, you're going to hear on Saturday. It's going to be something that's going to shock you. And the thing is, it's not Barack Obama. It's his wife. Everybody got to get ready for. And you see, because it's a clique that you're going to be used to. And I gave too much away already.
Yes.
You know,
Don't give any more away.
Yeah, you're going to see some things based on that.
Tune in on Saturday, libtv.com. Tune in at 7 p.m. If you are in Tubman City, join us at Sojourner Douglas College. It's at 200 North Central Avenue. The doors will open at 6 p.m. and the event will begin at 7 p.m. This is definitely some information that you haven't heard and that you would want to hear and to be able to be a part of. Well, we have Brother Darren. We're going to go to a break right now. When we come back, we're going to introduce Brother Darren. And some of you out there, we still didn't really do any background on Brother Sanu. And so I know that some people want to get a little bit more information about the kind of work that you're involved in and what you have been doing. So we'll be right back after this break.
Take a look at that. Yes,
All right, Bob, I'll see you tomorrow. All right, now.
What's up? What's up?
You heard that noise?
All right, bro.
Peace. Tomorrow.
So you get any calls today? They got it together this week. Yay!
Oh, that's some footage from we're talking about Obama, so.
Yeah, that's the one I wanted to